and welcome to episode 119 of the Alfa Romeo Driver Podcast, brought to you by the Alfa Romeo Owners Club. I'm Kirsty Hodson, and with me today on our 5th annual International Women's Day show, I have Alfa racer Stacey Dennis. Good afternoon, Stacey. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm pleased you invited me to have a chat.
So you've been racing in the high-tech Alfa Romeo and Italian Intermarque Championship for over 12 years?
Yes, this will be the 12th year.
25th woman to do so. And congratulations on your second place in the Power Trophy class last season.
Oh, thank you. It was a phenomenal season, as it always is. But yeah, it was a super achievement to gain second in class.
Massive achievement. So how did you get interested in motor racing in the first place, and how did you get involved?
Started many years ago. I just enjoyed cars. Now, my family were always bikers. Both my brothers had bikes, my dad had bikes. However, I enjoyed the comfort of 4 seats and air conditioning. So I stayed clear of the bikes and ventured down into the car world. A lot of friends growing up had fast cars, road cars, and kind of obviously went that direction in the car world. Also very keen on British touring cars, the old school British touring cars. Absolutely love watching it, loved going, but never did I ever think I would end up on the grid myself. And it was a chance meeting with Paul Plant at Bianco Auto Development, who I knew from the car world, had spoken to him for a while, who told me I should go racing. And it kind of went on from there, really. 12 years later, I'm still going and just always have a really big passion for cars. Really enjoy them.
Really nice. And you also regularly compete in the Burkitt Relay race, Silverstone. Tell me all about that.
Burkitt, yes. Well, we started racing in the Burkitt probably about 3 years ago. I saw it as an opportunity to have all my different racing friends come together for one race. Because obviously I have Alfa Romeo racing friends. I have a friend that races a BMW M3. I have Pure Track Racing who race the Clios. And the Burkitt kind of had a penny drop and thought, what a wonderful way to get all my fellow race friends together. So we decided to put, for the first year we done it, we put a team together because none of us had never done it before. And we wanted to see how it went. And it was tremendous. It was great fun. You race against so many different machines, different cars, different driving abilities, different styles, but you're all in the same race. And we all adopted the same mindset. Yes, of course you're competitive, it's a race, but at the same time, no one was going to frown on anyone if anyone did something wrong. And we all finished. And that was kind of our goal. So then that led on to the next year. We then got 2 teams, a bit more of a challenge, but we managed to get all the drivers together, make even more new friends. And again, all the cars finished and we did tremendously well. It's just such a phenomenal race, and we'll definitely be doing it again this year, either 1 or 2 teams. And it was just a nice way for other people to meet each other, because your racing family is just growing from the people that you meet throughout your career. And people that didn't know each other through the Burkitt are now really good friends.
But as much about friendship as it is about the racing then?
Oh, 100%. For me, I have 2 families. I have obviously my blood family, and then I have my racing family. And they mean the absolute world to me, because you have so many wonderful memories created with all these people throughout the years that I've been racing, and it's something that you cherish forever.
I'm sure. So do you have any pre-race rituals? For example, listening to a particular song?
I don't think you have any pre-race rituals apart from the pre-race wee. As soon as we get called for the assembly, I am off straight to the loo. I come back and then probably have to go again. And what some people might not know is in some of the assembly areas, I know Snetterton's got one, there is actually a portaloo in the assembly area. And I think that's for a combination of both obviously marshals and for the drivers, because you'll see quite a few drivers nipping in and out of there before we start a race. I always have a great pep talk from my team, because every driver will have their nerves in different ways. For me, I just need a good talking to remind myself why I'm there and that I can do it, and then off I go. I do also tend to have a nap between race 1, quali and race 1 if we're on a double header. It must be an age thing, I think, but definitely have a nap.
Saving energy for the race.
Yes.
So when you're looking at telemetry after a session, what's one data point you obsess over in order to find those last few hundredths of a second?
Definitely my break points. They will change in times tremendously, and it's great to again have the help from the team at Bianco Auto Development, who helped study my telemetry. Paul's a fantastic driver himself. Quite often we can overlap data from car he's driven. And with the telemetry, you can not only see your accelerating points, your turn points, your brake points, but it's also video. So you can see exactly where I'm braking to where the other driver maybe braking, and you can gain a lot from that because you use a lot of visuals. You look around for the different visuals on track to see where you are, where you need to brake, and where you can possibly leave it a little bit later. Shows you also what you're doing with your throttle. You know, you can smooth on the throttle, where you're on, where you're off the throttle, where you can possibly go on a bit earlier. And as I said, the video footage is really helpful, again, to see where I am on track. You know, but every time you can study your telemetry and you do learn from it. But I find every race session can be different. You know, weather conditions, track conditions, people in front of you, people around you, who else is on track. You know, you could be in a fast car coming up to a slow car, or you could be overtaking yourself. So as much as you try and learn from your telemetry, you also have to take on board everything that's around you at that particular moment in time, to stay safe and to stay fast.
Makes a lot of sense. So what is a challenge you've faced as a female racing driver that your male peers might not even realise exists? For example, have you made any specific adjustments or innovations to your car setup?
But I wouldn't say so much car setup, because I've lent my car out a couple of times to fellow chaps and they can jump straight in. They don't have a particular problem, apart from I have got quite short legs. So the chaps, they seem to be a lot taller in that department than me. But the one thing that will make a lot of people chuckle is lady boobs and harnesses. When you're strapped in very, very, very tight, the harnesses don't cater for your lady lumps, unfortunately. Yes, you're there to be safe, but unfortunately they are tight. And I would say a lot of racewear, it's only recently that a lot of racewear is now starting to cater for women and women's bodies, unless you particularly had one made for yourself. A lot of them are designed for men. And us ladies' bodies are different. You know, we're a bit more curvy and we have, as I mentioned, bumps in other places. And when you're sitting in a race car, that particular chap suit doesn't fit particularly well. So I have actually now got a female race suit that fits me much better than some of the chap suits I've used before. But yeah, the car setup, as I say, I don't particularly have it any different to the chaps. I have jumped in other chaps' cars before, and again, nothing particularly we've had to change setup-wise, apart from a booster seat, so I can reach the pedals.
That's cool. I've had to do the same with reaching the pedals.
Oh, so just the legs up.
Yeah. So racing requires a really high level of fitness. So how do you maintain your fitness level for a race?
So my fitness is the best it has ever been in about 3 or 4 years. Even through all my teenage years, my younger years, I'm the fittest now than I have ever been. I obviously attend the gym a fair bit, normally a Sunday, do a combination of cardio and weights. Weights, I think, are very important, especially your upper body. Because believe it or not, you do use quite a lot of upper body strength when you're off-round tracks. Cardio, again, we really associate that with racing. But again, I think, you know, when you're in the moment, you've got so much, not only is it stress on your mind, it's stress on your body, and you do need to be at a good fitness level. It's not just strength, but your cardio as well. So I also play for a ladies football team 2 to 3 times a week. I play for 2 teams. Because I hate cardio. I think a lot of people do at the gym. So I needed to find something that I was going to enjoy. And so I joined a local ladies football club 3 or 4 years ago, started off as a goalkeeper and then progressed onto the on-field. So again, a lot of football and a lot of gym work, which I enjoy weights. I really do enjoy the weight. But it's also your mental fitness as well that sometimes you overlook. When you're in your race car, and obviously you're driving at the speeds in which you do, you have to observe what's in front of you, what's behind you, what's beside you, where you are on track, where you got a brake, where you're accelerating. And by the time you've processed all of that, you've moved on the track, your surroundings have changed, and you have to process it all again. So when you're doing that, I mean, I only do the 20-minute sprint races, but by the end of that, you are a little bit mentally tired. And there are times during a race, if you're doing something a bit longer, that you have to snap your concentration back because your mind gets tired as well.
It's as tiring as the physical side of things.
Yes, it's both physically demanding and mentally demanding. Again, I always find I suffer with shoulder pain from racing. I don't know, half the time that's possibly my seat position, but again, I make sure I work with shoulders, my neck, my arms, just so I know I've got the strength to do what I've got to do. Even if it's a 20 minutes, 45 minutes, or when we do any sort of endurance for an hour, you've just got got to make sure that the fitness is there to give you the best chance possible.
And it's not optional anymore to do that kind of working out, is it?
No.
Okay. So outside of racing with Giulietta, which is really pretty, pink. I like the pink bits. Have you ever owned an Alfa?
Funny enough, no. I absolutely love my Racing G. I wouldn't give it up for the world. I think it's different, it's quirky, and I absolutely love it. But I've never owned a road-going Alfa. However, I would quite fancy the Giulietta QV. I have had the opportunity to drive one, and I walked away like a Cheshire cat. And I've had a couple in through work. They're really, really nice cars. But I'm one of these people that don't often change my car. Funny enough, I've owned my last, unfortunately, BMW for 12 years. And so I don't often really change my car. But maybe my new one might be an Alfa. You never know.
How did you take an Alfa Romeo championship? Through your relationship with Bianca?
Yes, so Paul Plant has a lot to answer for at Bianca Auto Developments. I know Paul from the car world many, many years ago, and everyone goes their separate ways. And it was I bumped into again at Autosport show, as I said, about 13 years ago. And he said, it's a really good idea to come racing. And I said, don't be silly, I'll never be able to do that. And then a year later, there I was doing my first green flag lap in floods of tears because I was so nervous and it was absolutely hammering it down. And I've not looked back since. The championship is a really friendly championship. The driving standards are great. There's something different on the grid. You know, you're not all consistent in the same make and model. It's all different makes, models, you know, with the Fiats, Alfas, etc. And there's just so many different machines you're racing against. You know, it's not just one engine. You've got all sorts of engines, all sorts of cars. And I really particularly enjoy the Alfa Romeo Intermarque Championship because everyone's just friendly. And as I said to you before, it's like a racing family. You know, if someone's got a problem, there's always someone else there that will try and get you back on the grid and help you out.
Oh, that's really nice to hear. So is there a race that you're most proud of? Something memorable?
I love Park. For me, it's just one of the better racetracks I've ever raced at, with its ups and downs, twists, turns. Absolutely love travelling up there, Fulton Park. And a couple of years ago, I had an absolutely fantastic race with a very good racer under the name of Dave Messenger. He's a phenomenal driver, and for me, for once, I actually kept up with him. It was our last race of the season. Didn't particularly need the points if I had got in front of him, but I learned a lot from him that race weekend, from that particular race. You know, car positioning, being confident in the car. Yes, I didn't get past him. I didn't think I want to risk the car, but it helped me learn a lot on what I need to try and do. And I had an absolute smile for the full-on 20 minutes. I was chasing him around that track. I think we've probably separated by about a car length in that whole 20 minutes. And it was a fantastic race, both respected one another, and it was phenomenal. And it's really good to do that at a track that you really, really love. I was really lucky enough to do.
Yeah, surrounding yourself with really good people really does help you grow, doesn't it?
Yeah, you learn a lot from other people, you know. Some of the people I've raced against, even though I've been doing it 12 years, they've been doing it double that time, you know, and you do learn a lot from these people because they've got the experience, the know-how, and the confidence in their cars. And to help you grow, you know, I'm a good believer in you sit back and watch and chat to other people. And again, that particular race, it helps me no end to be confident in my car. And this year, I actually managed to get past him. We were super lucky enough. That was televised. I say televised, it was on YouTube that weekend. And for a 20-minute race, I think for a good 12 minutes, they just focused on me and Dave. It was really good. I think they thought I was going to make a move. But when you've got to weigh it up in your mind. So at the time, yes, you're in race mode. You're putting your foot down. However, for me, I think this is part of being female, I think, is you look at you compute things. And I didn't need the points. So there was a particular time I nearly slung it down his inside. But then I thought, no, there's no point. Because if he turns in, which it was a fast part track, then I've kind of done my car, his car, for no gain, if that makes any sense. And I much preferred watching him squirm with my G right behind him, because he was in his 156. And as I say, I learned a lot, you know, to how to look at his defensive driving, so I can try and use it going forward. And I managed to, as I say, Silverstone this year, on lap 1, I did manage to get past him, which was a super achievement for me, because Dave's normally a very good driver. But I also got past him at Donington as well, this year, thinking about that. I've only just remembered about that one. So yeah, I've grown in confidence the last couple of years, and it is all down to my Giulietta. I had the 147 beforehand. I had that for 5 years. Love that little car, and I think it was a great car to start in, to learn your racing basics, to get confident, to understand your racecraft, to understand the goings on of the race. Then I had quite a pretty bad accident at Brands Hatch. Unfortunately, I had a torsion bolt snap, which my wheel went one way, which sent me another way. And unfortunately, Dave Messenger collected me at about 65, 70. I got quite a bit of concussion. Car was in quite a sorry state, and I'd had a particularly bad season. So at that point, I walked away for a season. I still went because, as it explained, the racing family, I watch the joys of other people. I love watching other people do well. It's not just about me. And then Barry McMahon rung me one day and said, "Oh, we're doing a track day in a couple of weeks. Do you want to come? We're taking the Giulietta out." I thought, that'd be lovely, thank you. And he was so nice to give me the keys for the first lap of the day. And I fell in love with the car. And the rest is history, really. I rented it a couple of times and fell in love with it even more. Then I got wind someone wanted to buy it from him, and that couldn't happen. So I rang him up, asked him how much he wanted for it, and the money was in his account on Monday. And since then, I've kind of really gelled with it. I've really learned the car, and it just fills me with confidence. And I think your confidence is key when you're racing. You've got to be able to understand and have full confidence in your car when you're doing what you're doing in it. If your confidence breaks, you can't be at your peak. And as I say, with the combination of the car, friends, family, the team, it's kind of given me all the tools that I need to achieve second in class last year, and hopefully we do even better this year. And it's all thanks to those people.
Well done. So what was your worst race in the last 12 years?
Oh, worst race. It's got to be me and Brands Hatch. I seem to be haunted by that track. It's my local track for me. I've raced and done a lot of track days there. Thoroughly enjoy it as well. However, there's been many years I've raced there that things have gone wrong. I've ended up in the kitty litter a few times, back with a bit my own fault most of the time. I also managed to unfortunately hit Tom Hill one particular race. Unfortunately, he had a gearbox malfunction, which led me to hit the back of him. Then I bounced off and hit poor Matt Daly. I've had numerous problems there, car problems in terms of reliability. The car was just misbehaving. Last year in the Giulietta, I had issues with a near side front tyre blowout, which it kept consistently blowing out, unfortunately. It took a little while to get to the bottom of what the problem was, because it was a very unusual problem. But again, the haunt of Brands Hatch returned, and I've got a few DNFs there again.
There was a race, was it Silverstone, where you had flu?
Oh, yes, that was last season. Had a great season, apart from obviously the tyre problem. We got to Silverstone. I have to do Silverstone, even though we do run drop scores, but because of my DNFs throughout the season, I had to do Silverstone. Now, the problem was, on the drive up to Silverstone on the Thursday, I started feeling like I had a cold, which got progressively worse quite quickly and turned into full-blown flu. Now, I think if it had been that I didn't need the points for the championship, I would have gone home. But I desperately needed these points to finish second in class. So I had no choice. So before quali, I was pulled up in the lorry asleep, got the call that we'd been called, so dragged myself out of the lorry into the car, threw it round Silverstone for quali, went back into Park Romeo, then parked right back in the pits and went straight back to sleep again until race one. I felt absolutely awful, and I felt really bad for the lovely people giving the trophies at the end of the weekend, because I was still full of flu and I didn't want to give anyone my lurg.
Is there any particular racetrack that you'd love to race at that you haven't yet done?
Yes. Now, I would love to get over to either Zandvoort or Spa. I believe that they possibly shall be on the cards for this year, but it will depend on finance and how the season has gone in the UK before we even start thinking about going over there, because obviously I want to try and do my best in the championship again this year as always, but going abroad does cost a fair bit. However, both those tracks look phenomenal. I was lucky enough to go to Zandvoort last year with Bianco and a couple of the other drivers that went, because I lent Paul my car. It was really, really lovely to see my car out in action at Zandvoort, even though, again, we were hit with the near side front tyre problem. But what I can say is all the Alfa owners and Alfa race drivers over there at Zandvoort were so friendly, and it was so nice to have that mirrored from the UK over in Zandvoort. So it really makes you look forward to going out and actually competing yourself amongst, again, another group of Alfa Romeo race drivers that have been just as charming and lovely as the ones in the UK.
The Alfa owners are a very friendly bunch, very supportive.
Yeah, you can see that, but even not just in the UK. I think even a couple of the Alfa Romeo owner club members travelled over to Zandvoort that particular weekend, I believe. It was far bigger than I thought that the meeting was going to be. It was lovely to see so many cars there, and I was lucky enough where I wasn't racing. I had the opportunity to have a pod round and admire some of the machines that had not, come from the UK as well as the ones from the Netherlands.
So do you have any plans for the future racing? Any ambitions, anything you'd like to achieve?
Well, I'm super lucky, and I wouldn't be able to be racing without my sponsors. So with the help of them this year, which are Data Reaper Graphics, I would love to try and win the championship. As every race driver, your passion is to win the championship. Obviously, everyone tries. There's only a select few that have managed to obviously win the championship. So this year, with the help of my sponsors and everyone else around me that believes in me and supports me along the way, because I simply wouldn't be able to do it without them. I've got the best support I've ever had in 12 years for 2026 season. So my goal, I would love to win the championship and one for the girls.
Absolutely. So it would be lovely to see more women racing. Have you got any ideas about how we could encourage and get more women into racing?
I would love to see more ladies come into the sport. The frustration I have currently is the media seem to have a spotlight on the younger ladies, which is fantastic because there's definitely more younger ladies coming through and it encourages younger ladies. However, there's no age limit really in the sport that we do. I'm definitely an older lady doing this sport now, and I've been doing it 12 years and I have absolutely no intentions of giving it up anytime soon. And I would hope to try and inspire ladies possibly of a similar age that have always liked cars to take a leap into the unknown and give it a go, because it doesn't matter if you've never raced before, because at the end of the day, you've got to start somewhere. And my advice to someone who possibly would love to get into the sport is start with your track days. Make sure your car's ready, make sure your car's prepped, and get some confidence on track days to understand your car and the layout and how it would feel. And, if you really enjoy that, then take a leap and go and get your race license. You need to contact, obviously, your local racetrack that can do your ARS test, and they'll give you all the advice that you need and all the guidance to gain your race license. I understand it was probably quite daunting for ladies not knowing where to start, which I'm lucky enough to have been in the car world, and I was very lucky enough to know Paul at Bianco encouraged me. But reach out to your tracks and ask them for advice on who they could possibly go and talk to, because there's a lot of race teams out there that, are in regular contact with your tracks that can offer support and packages to even try it out. And again, I know Paul at Bianco Auto Developments, again, they would always welcome people with open arms. And I would love to see more ladies doing it, because we are just as good as the men. I truly believe it's in a sport that it doesn't matter if you're male or female. You put on your crash helmet, you are all the same, and you can go out and enjoy yourself and do just as good a job as each other.
Well said. And it'll be really inspiring to our female club members, because we've been trying to get more women into the club. This is the kind of thing that we want to do to encourage more women to...
If any of your lady members ever see me at track or even out and about, you're more than welcome to come and talk to me. If you want help, advice, you want to look around the car, even sit in the car, we're a friendly bunch. Please come and say hello. I might be a little bit busy before a race and just after a race, but certainly the times in between racing, and I'm not doing very much, please come and have a chat, and I will certainly help you out as best I can and, give you any advice that you'd like.
Thank you. That's really lovely.
That'd be great to see more ladies. We definitely need more ladies in the sport.
We have a group called Alfa Female within the club, which is a bit of a kind of a safe space for ladies to meet up and talk. And we have We have even a little Alfa female logo that we have. We have some car stickers. Would you like an Alfa female car sticker?
I do. I need one for the race car. That would be awesome. And then people, again, that one might be help ladies to see that it's a lady race driver. If I have that sticker on the car, and the owner, the lady owners might recognise that and sit and signal to come and have a chat if they want.
Absolutely. You might see a lot of Alfa female stickers around. We also have the female bears. I'll save you one.
Love a bear.
This is your bear.
Yeah, we love a bear. So you said you did some track days. Is it something that you would want to have a go at? Have you ever raced, or have you just done some track days? Or
I've done a few track days. I did a couple of sprint races probably about 15 years ago. I got second. I got third in class in both of the races I did in the GT. But essentially, I'm just not quick. That is unfortunately, I wouldn't be competitive. But I mean, I've enjoyed the track days I've done, and I've driven up Prescott Hill Climb in the GT as well. That was quite fun.
Have you ever gone to Brooklands when they do the Italian the Italian Day at Brooklands Motor Museum?
I go every year to Italia. Yeah,
I do enjoy that. It's a good show, that definitely, because you got the hill. They do the hill climb there.
Are you going this year to Brooklands?
Yes, I intend to. Last year I couldn't. It clashed with one of our race weekends, so I couldn't go. And I couldn't go to the autumn one either, which was frustrating because it clashed. But this year the calendar is looking good. So as long as I don't destroy the car at Snetterton at the end of April, then yes, I should be there. But the car's undergoing, at the moment, it's winter overhaul. And I'm really, really lucky. I work and help run a vehicle accident repair centre, M&S Accident Repairs. And I have a wonderful boss who allows me to haul the car in over winter. Because I'm quite an advocate for having a clean, tidy race car. I'm like it with my road car. I really enjoy having a clean, tidy race car. It may stand out, I think, from the rest, if you do keep them clean and tidy. So the minute it's at work, it's having all the bodywork done. So a few comings together, fellow race drivers, particularly at Silverstone. Another day, but this was Dave Pickup, was having a particularly bad weekend, bless his little cotton socks, and decided to have a little nudge up the start-finish straight at Silverstone. We put a dent in one side, and Barry McMahon at Cadwell put a dent in the other side. So at the moment, it's in having all its dents done. It will be fully resprayed again, and its new graphics and design will be going on. Needs to say, it does contain pink. I absolutely love my white and pink and black, but that's staying. It's definitely not going. And the design that the sponsors want to put on has incorporated the pink, which is great. The engine's out at the moment. That's at Bianco having its winter work done. Every year you kind of have minimum standards of maintenance that you have to have done. I always have a cam belt, water pump change. The cars go through so much stress that you can't risk not having your basic maintenance done. It has an oil change pretty much every other race weekend because it's turbocharged. So again, I like to do oil and filter. And I use the Stellantis approved quadrifolio oil for the Alfa Romeo. I don't use any other oil. And I use, again, Alfa Romeo oil filter from the dealers. I won't use anything else. It is also having a new diff. I think it was one quali session, there was quite a few Power Trophy drivers out. Between, I think it was first to sixth in class, we were separated by half a second, which, is not much. So we started looking on where I could possibly gain some time. And when we were looking at the data, it was more hearing the data than rather than looking at it. We could hear the car spinning up, and we knew it wasn't the clutch, and we know it wasn't the tyres, which kind of left the diff. So the diff wasn't keeping up with the power transfer. So this over winter, we are putting in a different diff, an uprated diff, because those seconds I was losing through the power, I really needed to try and gain back somewhere. So hopefully the diff will make the difference. And obviously general engine check over, we've got a couple of oil leaks and bits and pieces, and then the engine will go back in and then get tested and then see how it goes. The other thing I wanted to mention for your members is the Gold Cup event at Alton Park this year, spread across the 29th to the 31st of August. We don't know what days we're racing yet. That's still to be released when they issue the timetable. However, we will be joining the Gold Cup lineup with the HSCC. It will be great if any of your members are there, because we do intend to kind of hold an event for you guys where you can come meet and greet us. So any of you lady members want to come and talk to me then, more than welcome to, or even talk to the chaps, because please, when I say they're really friendly, they are. They're more than happy to share stories and experiences, as well as your male members. You're more than welcome to come and chat to us. So we're looking to put an event on for you guys for that weekend. I'm really looking forward to the 2026 season with the championship. We've also introduced the pre-85 series. They now have their own series with us. So again, it's just going to introduce more cars to the grid of different ages and different specs with different drivers. So our kind of Alfa family, or the championship family, is forever growing at the moment, and that's a big thanks to Andy Hancock, who has really put some time and effort into our championship over the last kind of 12, 15 months. And our grid numbers are phenomenal. I think that was reflected in, I think it was at Motorsport News, where we were the fastest growing club in the motorsport kind of podium racing, which was fantastic to hear. And it is, great effort by the panel and a phenomenal effort by Andy. So, so hopefully if you guys can make the Gold Cup, it'll be lovely to meet some of you.
Looking forward to seeing you race this year.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait at all. I know it's a few weeks away yet. I think we're a couple of months. But everyone's itching to get back out again. I think it's because it's so passionate for so many people. It's one of those sports that, you don't turn up, play your football and job done, go home again. You spend a whole weekend with people, and, I just really enjoy seeing other people do well as well. Racing is such a team effort. And I think sometimes if you're not involved in racing and say you watch it just on telly, say you watch British touring cars or even the Formula One that people watch on telly, you don't truly understand the team effort that's involved to get your driver to do well, to get your driver out on the grid. I've had times before where I had a clutch go at Snepperton. The whole team put absolutely everything into changing my clutch and gearbox between qualifying and race one, which, is not a very big amount of time, but they did everything that they could. And sure enough, just as the guys were gridding up, I'm zooming down the pit lane to start from the back because they'd worked so hard to get me on the grid. Or even when we have an accident, again, they're bashing the cars out as best they can to make them safe to get you on the grid. And, a massive thank you to the team for supporting, all drivers, because if it weren't for your team and the people around you, again, you wouldn't be the driver that you are, if that makes any sense. And I think a lot of people don't understand kind of what goes on behind the scenes to get us out there.
I totally agree. Actually, Snetterton's the only proper circuit I've spun on.
Oh, really? What happened?
I just overcooked it into the hairpin.
Did you? But did you do it with a smile?
Yeah, and I managed to catch it actually hitting the barrier, which I was very impressed at.
Yeah, well, if you're not going to hit anything, just enjoy it.
It was torrential rain. You couldn't see the end of the bonnet, which is good because the back end was overtaking it. It was that bad.
You've got to have some guts to do it in the rain, definitely. Because at the end of the day, when you're driving the road in the rain, never push your car. You don't want to because you've got to be safe and stick within the rules. However, when you go racing in the rain, it's a massively different ballgame. So different. And it's not something that you can kind of go out and learn unless you keep booking track days and test days when it rains, which you did say in the UK be quite often. But unfortunately, a lot of the cars are going over the winds overhauls when it is particularly raining. But yeah, you need to have full-on confidence in the rain. Personally, I enjoy racing in the rain. I really do. I think the car is so well set up for the rain. I think Paul and Barry raced it about 3 or 4 years ago at Donington. They qualified, I think it was 15th in Brit car, on the Brit car races, and by the end of lap 2, I think they're up to 3rd because it was that well set up for the rain. But yeah, I do enjoy racing in the rain, but yeah, it is scary when you spin. But when you're not going to hit anything, I just sit back and enjoy it and try and learn from it.
I did do it again about an hour and a half later, so...
Did you?
That was it. And then I did learn from it.
What tracks have you done?
Right then, I've done Cadwell, Castlecombe, Brands Hatch, Snet, Llandau, Kerbra. I've done a few.
And which one was your favourite?
Actually, Bedford Autodrome I really love.
I've never done
because
Bedford.
It's so long. You can push the car so hard on that back straight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's great fun. It's like 3 miles long. You get a proper lap.
I've never done Bedford. I've been up there once when someone else was testing, but I've never done a track day or anything there before. Perhaps I should get it booked. Well, actually, we should get it booked. We should do a ladies' day up at Bedford.
We should. Yeah, we should definitely do that.
When we were testing the problem on my Giulietta. We did a couple of track days at Brands Hatch, and on one of the evenings, Paul had taken the 156, one of his renters out. And there was a girl there, lovely girl, Megan, her name is, and she had a really, really clean 147, green one. And she was so lovely that she came up to the garage because the Alfas were in there. She was having a look round. We got chatting. Now, really good friends with her. She came on our next track day, bolted a passenger seat in, took her out. And my best friend, Sarah, ironically enough, Stacey Dennis, she has the same surname as me, same middle name as me, drive the same road car. Unfortunately, she races a Clio, not an Alfa. But I met Sarah about 3 years ago at the Auto Sport Show. Instant best friend. She's pretty much a blonde version of me. And we all went on a girls' track day. So me, her and Megan all went to Brands Hatch. And the best bit about it was all the gentlemen's faces, because it was 3 ladies and their race cars rather than the chaps. But what you find when you go on these track days as a woman, which has never fazed me, because I've always worked in a male orientated industry. So I run a body shop full of chappies and obviously like cars, full of chappies. But you get 2 types of men generally at a track day. You get the men that feel that you're now a target and that you're a challenge, that they have to try and beat you because you are beat out and you dent their ego, unfortunately. But the thing is they don't know. Obviously, they see that it's a race car, but I'm lucky enough to be quite fast at what I do in comparison to these road cars on a track day, and the car generally eats most of the cars there, so I can come off quite smug. And then you get the other types of gentlemen that are really interested in what you do, and they'll come up and they'll have a chat about the car, and they're really keen to know the car, what you've done to it, which I absolutely love, and I do not get offended by it in the slightest. But we do still live in that world where you have the male-female rivalry, and I absolutely thrive on it. I love it because it gives me such a challenge against these chappies. I never wish to take that away, if that makes any sense, because it wipes the smug smiles off their faces.
Awesome.
Well, as I say, I love my racing, hugely passionate, and if I can do anything that I can to inspire young, old, doesn't matter, ladies into the sport, I'm all for it. Because I think there haven't been any other ladies in the 12 years I've been racing, and I think it's such a shame. It'd just be nice if we could just get more ladies to the grid. You see a fair few in some of the other championships, but I think when you look at race cars, Alfas don't spring to people's minds, and I want that to change. Because some of the newer cars that are coming out, I say newer, the Giulietta isn't particularly new, but in terms of it being on the track, we're now getting momentum with them. You know, obviously I've got mine. I know Bianco are building at least 2 or 3, and there's various other drivers coming in this year with the Giuliettas. So they are now growing legs as race cars, which I think is fantastic. And the more that we can push them, the more we can get on the grid. And again, the same with the Julias. There's a few people now building. Now you've got Barry McMahon, who's absolutely a phenomenal car. I think he's an absolute monster, and absolutely what a machine to watch and to listen to. And again, a few other people are now building those to bring to the grid. But we just need some ladies at the helm. I mean, I'm lucky. I've been in the male world all my life, pretty much. I started off as a professional dog groomer, believe it or not, for a year. And then into the motor trade I went. And kind of when I went into the motor trade, you know, female and a man's world was even harder than what it is today. And I've had to prove myself all the way through what I have become. And I'm lucky that I have such a great boss now. I've been with him about the same time I've been racing, actually, 11, 12 years, you know, and it's actually nice to have a chap that believes in you and supports you, push you forward and to grow you into the person that you have. So I've got a really good boss for that. But again, it's just been in a man's world pretty much all my working life, really.
Thank you, Stacey. That was really great talking to you today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Genuinely appreciate it. That's it for this year's International Women's Day episode. We'll be back in 5 weeks' time on Sunday, the 5th of April. Episode 120 will be available to download from 1:30 p.m. from the club's website, aroc-uk.com. Podbean, Podcast Addict, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere else good podcasts are found. Until then, stay safe.